All right, Rams, today we're going to be learning about properties of operations. All right, so the first thing that we are going to do here is our warm-up here. It is called two truths and a lie. Basically, we want to know which one is a lie and tell me why. Now, these are very long equations. So basically, think back to yesterday when we were combining like terms. And I want to know, when I combine all the like terms and simplify this, will it get to that? When I combine all of these and simplify it, will I get there? Okay, basically, that's all I'm doing, okay? So which one is not true and why? All right, the one that is not true is the middle one because 16z's plus 34z's is not going to be 54. It will be 50z's. All right? Okay, in class, we'll be doing this with a card sort, but for you guys in our video here, we'll be just taking some notes through it and talking through it, okay? So I believe it is page 69. It is properties of operations. All right, first thing here is the commutative property. You're going to be filling these in on your notes, okay? What does it mean to commute? Okay, if you say somebody commutes to work, they are a commuter. That means they travel. They move or travel to their work. So the commutative property tells us that numbers can actually move or travel in a problem. All right, so let's write this down. When adding or multiplying two numbers, changing the order of the numbers does not change the sum or the product. Now, a couple of examples of what this looks like is saying that 2 plus 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 2. Those numbers can move in their order, right? They switch the order. Or 5 times 4 is the same thing as 4 times 5. The numbers switch places. They moved to another place, and it does not change the answer. Now, this property is only good for multiplying or adding. Now, we could also do this with a variable, a letter. We could say, let me clear this off here. We could say 2 plus y is the same thing as y plus 2. Or we could say 5 times b is the same thing as b times 5. All right, that is the commutative property. We'll be practicing more of those. Next, identity property. Your identity is who you are. It doesn't change, right? You are going to be the same person. Now, your personality might change a little bit, your preferences, but who you are doesn't change, okay? The identity property is something that doesn't change. Basically, it says that if you add 0 to a number, so 5 plus 0, it doesn't change. That 5 stays the same. Or I could multiply by 1. Doesn't change the number. So 3 times 1 is still going to be 3. That identity of that number doesn't change. I can add 0 or I can multiply by 1. It does not change, okay? That is the identity property. Write down your examples here in your notes. It can be done with variables. We could say x plus 0 is just going to be x. It doesn't matter. 3 times 1. Now, I could also say 1a is the same thing as just a. 1 times a is a. And that's a very common one that we will recognize. And we saw it yesterday with our combining like terms also. All right, the associative property. There is a saying that says, you become like those that you associate yourself with. What does it mean? What does it mean who you associate yourself with? What's who you group yourself with? The group of people that you hang out with. Okay, you become like those that you associate yourself with. That's who you are surrounded, who your group of friends are, okay? So associative has to do with groupings. Okay? So that's how you remember the associative property has to deal with groupings. Now, the rule says when you multiply numbers or add more than two numbers, the grouping of them doesn't change the product or the sum. So for adding, what this looks like is 2 plus 3 plus 5. I grouped the 3 plus 5. So my order of operations would say that I would do the 3 plus 5 is 8 plus 2 and get 10. That is the same thing as saying 2 plus 3 plus 5, because 2 plus 3 is 5 plus 5. Okay. Multiplication. I could say 4 times 2 times 6 is the same thing as 4 times 2 times 6. On this one, this is 12 times 4 will be 48. This is 4 times 2 is 8 times 6 is also 48. It doesn't matter. This only works for multiplying or adding. Okay. And it's that the groupings, your parentheses, how you group them tells you which ones to do first. If it's all addition or all multiplication, you can group them and order them in whichever way you like. Okay. All right. Inverse property. This one's such an easy one. What does inverse mean? And what if we said inverse operations? Oops, sorry. Inverse operations means opposite. Okay, inverse means opposites. So this means we use the opposites. So this says that a sum of a number and its opposites, or its inverse is the same as opposite, is 0. So 7 plus negative 7 is 0. That's just a bunch of 0 pairs, isn't it? B plus negative B equals 0. These are opposites. That's really easy, right? All right, the distributive one is the one that is the most challenging and the most often used as we get ready to start looking into algebra, okay? So if I said I'm going to distribute something to my class, let's say I brought cupcakes to my class. I'm going to draw on here, okay? Let's say here's my classroom and I'm standing at the front, okay? And I brought cupcakes to my students and I'm going to distribute them to all the students standing closest to me. Well, what about all these back here? What about all those students? Did they get any? No, because they're far away. Is that fair? No. If I'm going to distribute something, I have to share it equally, even with those not near me. Okay? Now, what does this look like algebraically? Why all that, right? Well, it says 2 times 3 plus 6. This means that I'm going to have to multiply my 2 by everything inside these parentheses. So I'm going to do 2 times 3 plus 2 times 6. That's all I do. I distribute that 2 and I share it with everybody, not just that closest number, not just that 3, even the ones farther away. So now 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So 6 plus 12 is 18. Okay. It works with lots of different things here. It also works with division inside there. So I could say 5 times 8 minus 4. Okay. So again, I'm going to switch colors here so that it stands out a bit for us. But I'm going to do 5 times 8 minus, use that same symbol there, 5 times 4. Okay, all I'm doing is distributing. I am sharing that 5 with everything out there because it wouldn't be fair to just share the 5 with that first number. I'm multiplying that 5 by everything inside those parentheses, okay? 5 times 8 would be 40 minus 5 times 4 is 20. 40 minus 20 is 20. Now, what does this look like algebraically when I have variables in there? Oh, this is the fun part. Okay, so let's say I have 3 and I'm looking at 7 plus y. Okay, I could write, I can't combine that 7 and y not by adding, but what I can do, let me switch up my colors here. Let's go with that one. I can say 3 times 7 okay, plus 3 times y. How do I write 3 times y? Just 3y. Now, I can simplify a little bit farther, but I can't simplify all the way to one number, okay? So 3 times 7 is 21 plus 3y. I can't do anything with that. I just have to leave it like it is. So this is the equivalent expression to that. All right, it's not terrible, right? This is not too bad. All right, so now you're going to get a little practice here on your own. Okay, Rams? If there's anything you need, let us know. Join our Zooms or email us. All right, have a great day, Rams.